For many of us, the lower portion of the chest is the most difficult area of the pecs to build. And if you think the solution is simply more decline presses, you're wrong. In fact, there are really only 3 exercises you need to build a set of rounded lower pecs, and the decline press is not one of them. Now, before we jump into what those 3 exercises are, let's first go over the basic anatomy of the pecs and their functions, as this will give us a better idea of how to train the lower pecs more optimally. The chest, or pectoralis major, is composed of 2 major heads, the upper clavicular and the lower sternal head. That said, if you look in certain textbooks, you'll see the lowest portion of the pecs is divided into a 3rd head, the abdominal head. And while the entire chest is responsible for horizontal adduction, or bringing your arms across the body, the lower pecs also contribute to shoulder extension, which involves bringing your arms down from a forward position. Due to neuromechanical matching, muscle fibers positioned to be mechanically advantageous during an exercise will experience more growth. And since the abdominal head fibers run downwards, this means we'll have to press in a more downward angle to emphasize this portion of the chest. So now that we better understand the area of the chest we're looking to target, let's jump into the only 3 exercises you need for rounded lower pecs. Exercise number 1. Flat bench press. Despite the decline bench being the intuitive choice, the flat bench press offers better overall benefits for chest development. Not only does it feel more natural and lends itself better to progressive overload, but the flat bench does a better job at targeting the sternocostal head, which makes up about 2/3 of the chest. In fact, studies show a strong correlation between bench press strength and chest size. In other words, the bigger the bench, the bigger the pecs. This 2020 study compared chest muscle activation across 5 different bench press angles. They found that the mid and lower pecs showed the highest muscle activation at a 0-degree incline. And if that wasn't enough, another study found that a horizontal bench press resulted in more complete activation of all the regions of the pecs compared to decline and incline bench press angles. The question then becomes, should we use dumbbells or barbells? The truth is, they each offer distinct benefits. The barbell provides greater stability, allowing you to lift around 17% more weight compared to dumbbells. Dumbbells, on the other hand, offer a greater range of motion and enhanced adduction at the top of the movement, since you can bring your hands closer together at the top. In either case, we want to ensure we're setting up with our shoulder blades retracted and packed with a slight arch in our back. Not only will this keep the shoulders safe and stable, but the slight arch positions your torso in a way that gives your lower pecs more leverage, creating a slightly declined angle. As far as grip width, this study compared a narrow, medium, and wide grip. They concluded that if the goal is to lift as much as possible, the medium and wider grip width would be more beneficial. Exercise number 2, bench pullovers. Often regarded as a back exercise, the bench pullover has demonstrated considerable activation of the pecs. Research published in the Journal of Physical Education and Sport demonstrates that during pullovers, the pectoralis major shows 28% greater EMG activity compared to the lats. This indicates that the chest muscles are more activated than the back muscles during this exercise. So, why is the pullover so effective for targeting the lower pecs? Well, the lower chest fibers are notably effective as shoulder extensors, particularly at high degrees of shoulder flexion or when the arms are positioned above shoulder height. During the eccentric phase of the pullover, the lower chest fibers are the most stretched, while they also contract the hardest during the concentric phase. This alignment and leverage make the pullover highly effective for engaging and developing the lower portion of the chest. During a pullover, the peak tension occurs when the arms are fully extended above the head. However, to maintain focus on the chest, your range of motion should be limited. Instead of bringing the bar all the way lay over your chest, stop when the weight is just above your head. This keeps the tension on the pecs and keeps you within the range of motion where the lower pecs have leverage. For the setup, I prefer positioning your body perpendicular to the bench, resting only your upper back on the bench. This will allow you to drop the hips lower than the bench. This setup does two things. First, it helps in counterbalancing the weights, making it safer and more stable for heavy lifting. And second, it allows you to accentuate the stretch in the lower pecs, providing a deeper range of motion. And this increased range leads to greater muscle activation and consequently better growth. And exercise number 3, high to low cable crossovers. The high to low cable crossover allows you to isolate the pecs by performing horizontal adduction while aligning the motion with your lower pec fibers. According to this study, cable crossovers are nearly as effective as the bench press for activating the pectoral muscles. Another benefit of cable crossovers is that they remove triceps involvement, further isolating the pecs. During a bench press, your triceps may fatigue first, limiting the tension on your pecs. With cable crossovers, you ensure that the pecs will go through a full range of motion and fatigue before any other muscle. For best results, begin by setting the cable pulleys to a high position. Grab the handles and step forward slightly, taking a staggered stance for better balance. Start with your arms parallel to the floor with only a slight bend at your elbows. From there, bring the handles down and together towards the midline of your body, ensuring they meet around the waist. Maintain an upright torso instead of leaning over to avoid mimicking a traditional flat fly, which shifts the focus away from the lower chest. And for an even better contraction, cross the handles over each other at the bottom of the movement. So there you have it. The only 3 exercises you need for rounded lower pecs. While you don't need to perform all of these exercises on the same day, if your goal is to bring up your lower chest, I recommend making each one a staple in your chest training. Did you find this video helpful? If so, click the like button below as it'll truly help out the channel. And if you're looking to further optimize your training, check out our video, the #1 exercise for each muscle group. There, you'll learn the single best exercise for each individual muscle group so that you can get the best results in the least amount of time. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe for more videos and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next one. Peace.